Right, boys and girls, if you're broke, okay, which let's face it, it's most of us in the country right now, isn't it? And you're hungry, there's going to be one food that's going to get you out of a pickle. It's nutritious, it's tasty, it's cheap, it's good for you, like it's good for your heart. For the lads out there, it's good for your pecker too. Alright, it's eggs. These little suckers. Brilliant things. You know, you can go all out and get the posh, more expensive ones. You can go cheap, right? These are still very affordable. So what we're going to do is make a curry. And this is a modified, adapted recipe from a guy called Imran Ali. All right, he runs a YouTube channel, TikTok, called What in the Chef. I will put a link to his channel down below, but a massive thank you to him for the inspiration for this dish. So pop over to his channel, give him a follow, and tell him I sent you. Right, so, well, I guess we'll crack on. Eggs, crack on. And here's all the ingredients you're going to need. Everything will be listed down below in the description as always. I'm not going to list through everything, because that's boring, you don't want to watch that. But the first thing we're going to do is boil the eggs. Get them on. Obviously you're going to take a pan, fill it with water. And obviously we'll get that onto a hob and turn it onto its highest setting and get that water to a boil. And whilst that water's coming to the boil, I'm going to start slicing up my onion and tomato. You don't need to be precious with it, just peel it. Okay, and then we're just going to slice that up. And then with your tomatoes, just cut them in half. And then just take a knife. You see that sort of khaki bit? Focus. This bit here, you want to get that out, because that's just a bit meh. Just going to sort of take that little notch out. Throw it in the bin. Now once your water is boiling, going to gently lower in our eggs. Okay, use like a slotted spoon or a spider. Just be really careful, because if you just plonk them in, they're gonna crack. Just gently lower those in, and then make sure you set a timer for exactly 8 minutes. Hey Google, set timer for 8 minutes.
Okay, 8 minutes, starting now.
Brilliant. Cheers, my duck. Okay, so once your 8 minutes are up, I'm going to take these out and just pop them into a vessel, bowl, whatever, and then just pop them in the sink and run the cold tap straight over them like that. So what this does is it cools the eggs down, and it stops them getting that sort of horrible grey shitty ring on the inside of the yolk. So just run that for like a minute, you know, just to kind of cool the eggs down, and they'll sit to one side until we need them. Well, so now we can start making our curry. So I'm going to get this hob onto a medium heat, get some ghee into this pan. Don't worry if you haven't got any ghee, alright, just use like normal plain veg or sunflower oil. But ghee is really nice. It can be a bit pricey, but a little goes a long way. It's basically Indian clarified butter. It's got a slight fermented taste to it. It's just nice for curries. And once that ghee is nice and hot, I'm going to go in with the onion and my whole spices, so the mustard seeds and the cardamom pods. And with the cardamom, make sure that you just lightly crush them with the back of a spoon, just kind of opens them up and lets the seeds out, so they can go in. And then just gently fry that for about 5-10 minutes, just so the onions start to soften and those spices kind of wake up. Now after about 5 minutes, I'm going to add in my 2 blocks of ginger garlic paste. If you're using like fresh, or using like the jarred stuff, you're going to want about 2 tablespoons, but in this case it's 2 of those frozen blocks. I'm going to stick a lid on that, and then I'm just going to leave it to do its thing for about another 5 minutes or so. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes now, it's sort of simmering away. You can see how the onions have started to go nice and soft, okay, but nothing's burnt. Okay, it's crucial not to have the heat too high. Next thing is you want to take your tomatoes and place them face down, cut side down in a pan like that. And there's a reason for that, which I'll explain in a moment. And the reason why we put them in cut side down with the skin facing up is because when you put the lid on, it's going to start to create steam. It's going to soften the skin, and we can just pull that straight off. And whilst that's doing that, I'm going to peel the eggs. So I've drained off the water, they're cool enough to handle. So I'm just going to take off the shell. Look, I'm sure you've all got your own ways of peeling eggs. It's not rocket science, is it? And once you've peeled all your eggs, just take a sharp knife and then just lightly score the outside. Okay, just a couple of times. Careful not to cut the egg in half. And after a few minutes of your tomatoes kind of steaming, you should be able to get a pair of tongs and kind of pull that skin straight off. He says, I don't think they're quite ready yet. Oh no, there it is. Look, come straight off. Top tip, And then I'm going to take a fork and just start to sort of mash those down a bit. You could use like a potato masher if you've got one, but funnily enough, I don't. And then in with our dry spices. In they go. And give that a thorough shufty. And then leave that to cook away for a good few minutes. You need to kind of see oil separation before we can go on to the next step. But whilst that's doing that, I'm going to take another pan, the same pan I boiled the eggs in. I'm going to add a little bit of oil. You could use like ghee as well, but just got this to hand. Get that onto a medium-high heat. And I'm going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric, however you want to frickin' say it, doesn't matter. And half a teaspoon of chilli powder. Here we go. And once that starts to get hot, go in with your eggs. You just want to kind of fry those off in that sort of infused oil just for a couple of minutes so they take on that flavour. Don't need long, but again, be careful, don't burn anything. If it burn, fucked. So after a few minutes of that sort of cooking down, you can see like the fat started to separate almost. Okay, almost like it's splitting. That's a good sign, that's what you want. So now we can go in with our coconut milk. Here we go. Sometimes with coconut milk, like, it will separate in the tin. Okay, doesn't really matter for this. Go straight in and just smoosh all that around. I am at this point as well going to add a good pinch of salt. So, next I'm going to add in the eggs. Get those in. And I'm going to leave that to simmer for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. Reduce some of that liquid and we're almost there. One thing I forgot to add in, those 3 green chillies. So get those in at the same time as your eggs. Okay, right, so we are not far off this puppy being done. So, wipe down a little bit. I'm now going to go in with our fenugreek, dried fenugreek. Sometimes it's also called methi, not meth, methi. Okay, and I'm going to go in with a good sort of handful of chopped coriander, stalks and all. Okay, there's lots of flavour in the stalks for coriander, so add that in, and I'll give that another few minutes on a high heat. Just kind of reduce that a little bit, and then it's done. Right, so I'm going to serve some of this up. I'm going to have some rice with mine. You can have the roti if you want, whatever really. And obviously some of our egg curry, and don't forget to spoon over some of that gorgeous sauce. There you have a delicious, easy, cheap egg coconut curry. Now I know Imran's probably going to tell me off if he sees this because he says use your hands, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use a fork. So in we go. Bloody delicious. And so easy as well. You know, turn the humble egg into something exceptional. Exceptional, yes. I tell you what though, yeah, I'm flipping sweating now though. It's hot in this kitchen. Oh look, anyone can make that. You know, curries don't have to be complicated or overly expensive. They can be, but they don't have to be. But I'm going to go and bugger off because this is getting cold. I want to finish the rest of this and flip and have a sit down. Now if you like the video, please do the usual thing. Like, share, subscribe, thank you very much. And I'll see your gorgeous faces next time. Bye for now.